Okay, here we go. Now we've done a lot of the basic principles in After Effects. I mean, there's still tons to learn, but certainly you've got enough knowledge now that you can start to use these animating principles on your own for your own work. I want to show you something now that's quite a bit more complex, and that those of you who are brave enough to try it, you're welcome to do it. It's going to be a little bit stop and start for you as you play this back. I'm going to start right from the very start where we go get a picture, cut it out in Photoshop, and then import it into our composition here. Okay, so here's where we're going with it. So there's the Raptor logo. From behind the Raptor logo, actually, let me give this a shape. Give me a second. Raptors, go with a shape tool. Let me just give it a shape like so. Command Z. Actually, see this yellow? That means I've created a mask over this layer. See, there's a mask because I had the Raptors layer selected when I made the shape. So if you ever see that, you just got to go Command Z and say, oh, okay, I know what that is. Deselect the layer, make a shape now, and now it should look different when I click and drag. There we go. I'm going to make this a nice, I don't know, a sort of a blue. Why not? Because there's not much blue in the logo. So there's my blue background. I just want to give it background. And where is it? It's way at the top here. It should be the last layer that I added right there. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to call it blue BG. Okay. And I'm going to drag it down on my layer stack to the very bottom so everything's revealed below it. I think it's a bit of a bright color, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make it darker. There we go. Why don't I make it a Castlebrook green? Why not? Theme of the day. Okay, so let's make it a Castlebrook green. There we go. That looks a little better. And I'm going to lock it. Okay, that background now won't move no matter what I do. So what are we going to do? We've got the Raptors logo, and we're going to have these two things revealed from behind it. A basketball and then text. And it's a little bit complex, so we'll get into it as we work through it. But the first thing I want to show people is how to go into Photoshop. Open. This is should be a review. I'm going to open this image, not place it, because I don't need a 1920 by 1080 document. I'm going to get a transparent image in a second. Let me go to a basketball on white background. Okay, so there we go. This is already on a white background. It can't be. I want to cut it out. So how do I do it? Well, this is a bit of a review. It opens up on a background layer, but it's locked. Double click it and call it BB for basketball. Click OK. There you go. Now it's unlocked. Now what I like to do is I like to go and click new layer, and I like to put again a new layer on top, and then I'll drag it down below, new layer, and then I'm just going to make a shape on that layer like so. I don't see it right now because the basketball is on top of it. Okay, so I've got a pink layer underneath the basketball. That'll just help me when I'm cutting out. Okay, now let's go to the basketball layer now. Select your layer always first. We're going to cut this out. It's a solid white background, so I'm going to use the magic wand tool right there, fourth tool down. If it's on anything else, if you click and hold, it's a little stubborn. It's a little weird how this works. Quick selection, you don't want that. You want magic wand. I'm going to put my tolerance to 20, so I'm going to make it pretty particular. Maybe I'll even make it tighter. I'll make it 10. 10. Tolerance of 10. I'm going to make sure contiguous is turned on, so it's only going to select white pixels that are attached to each other. There is no white in the basketball, so it shouldn't matter, but just in case. Click. I've now made a nice tight selection around the basketball. I've also selected on the outside border. So my selection now is all of this white. Okay. And if you need to, you'll have to rasterize the layer. Mine's already rasterized because it came in as a JPEG. Hit delete. There we go. Now, lose your selection. Command D to lose the selection. I can still see some white, so Command Z, Option, Command Z on a Mac. I'm going to change my tolerance to be a little bit wider. I'm going to say to 25. And see now if I reselect, if I get a tighter selection, because now it's going to pick more pixels. Okay, hit delete. So Command D, it gives me a bit of a tighter edge. I'll accept that for what I'm doing. Okay, you could be more particular. See, if I zoom in, use the hand tool, I've still got an edge. So Command Z, Option Command Z, Command minus, minus, minus. It's not the greatest of images either. Let's see if we go to a wider tolerance of 40. Okay. Command D, lose that selection first. There we go. Might be a tighter selection now because it's selecting more pixels, higher number and tolerance. Hit delete. Command D, lose the selection. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay. The pink is just there just to help me see the edges. Now, I've got a problem down here. I got to get rid of this. See how it didn't pick the white in here because that white was not part of these other pixels. They weren't attached. So I've got an easy way to deal with this. I'm going to actually select the pixels on this basketball layer that I want to delete. So I'm going to go to my marquee tool, second one down, click and drag around it again on the basketball layer, hit delete, gone. Good. Command D, lose a selection. Turn off the pink background, and now I've got a transparent background and the basketball cut out. Now I have to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save this not as a Photoshop document in this case. I'm going to click and I'm going to go and save it as a PNG down here. PNG will give us the transparent background around the basketball. Must be a PNG to get that transparency. Okay, I'm going to save it where I've been saving it. I'm going to say on transparent BG. I may already have one called that there. It'll tell me. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's done in Photoshop. Cut an image out that I'm going to use. Let's go to After Effects now. There we go. Let's go to a brand new composition. Right click. I'm going to call this new BB basketball and text AE comp. Okay. All my settings are the same as before, so I can just click OK. New, there it is there. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of this. I brought this in previously. Yeah, get rid of it. Raptors cutout. I've already got it in here. I downloaded it and I right clicked and I went import file and I brought the Raptor logo. It's already cut out. I brought it in. It's a PNG. Okay, there it is. I'm going to get rid of the other one then. Delete it. What else did I need? Text. I'm going to create it right in After Effects. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down here. Why don't I make a background shape? Okay, just to put everything on as a background. So I'm going to go to Fit here first. There we go. And I'm going to go to my shapes. And I'm going to just click and drag and make a shape. Like so. Okay. And that's just our background because black is not actually part of your composition. We want a color background in this case. I'm going to go and right click. I'm going to go rename. I'm going to call this CSS BG for Castlebrook background. There we go. Okay, now close that up and why don't I lock it? I don't want this to move. Okay, next I'm going to bring down. I'm going to right click and import. Why don't I import that basketball on a transparent background? Here we go, BB transparent background, PNG, bring it in, there it is. Okay, I'm going to bring that down, although I'm doing things out of order now, but I just want to show you how we can reorganize our layers just like in Photoshop. And then we've got a Raptors logo cut out already. There it is. So right now everything's being covered by this green, okay, because it's on top. So let's grab that layer and oh, it's locked. So I'm going to just drag it down. Then I'm going to lock it. Okay. And now the other two layers appear on our composition. First thing I'm going to do is turn off or hide the basketball. Let's position our Raptor first. Okay. So let's go to our selection tool. Let's move them over. Let's put them there. We're going to scale them up a bit. I'm going to just drag it up and hold shift. Make it bigger, like so. Good. Okay, so what have we done so far? We've added this greenish blue background layer right here. We've brought our Raptor logo. It was already cut out for me. It was a PNG. We brought it down to the layer stack, and all we did was reposition it and scale it. If we go to you can see there are no keyframes because I didn't actually set any. I just positioned it and scaled it, and that's where I want it to be. Okay, now let's turn on the basketball. Where is it? Here. Okay, that's way too big. So first thing I'm going to do is go to my move tool, my selection tool up here, and I'm going to select that layer, and I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to start to scale, and then I'm going to hold shift. I'm going to bring it down to about, maybe that's too small. Hold shift as I scale it back up, drag, hold shift, about that big. And I'm going to put it sort of down at the bottom area here. Let me sort of put it on the overlapping edge and on the logo itself. Okay, so that's going to be the scale of this. Now, what I want to do is move it straight across to the right to find the final position. So at 1 second, okay, I want this ball, no matter what else happens, start to move it, hold shift as you're moving it, and it'll lock it in and drop it here. Okay, drag it and drop it here. Okay, that's where I want it to end up. It doesn't matter if this is not in safe action. It actually is right on the edge. It's a shape, it's a ball, so it's not like we're reading anything. Okay, so that's where my ball is going to end, up at 1 second. So I need to go into the basketball, go into the P for position. I need to turn on the keyframe, and that's where it's going to live. What I also wanted to do is rotate. So I'm going to go to rotate now, and I'm going to say rotate twice, 2 times. From where I start you to where I end you. You're going to rotate twice. Okay, there it is. What didn't I do? I got to turn it on. Turn on the keyframe, there it is. So no matter what happens, it's going to have rotated twice and ended up here. Okay, let's go to the start position now. So let's go to P for position. Okay, I don't really have to, but I will. Watch that only the X, if I hold shift, only the X axis is moving. See how only the X numbers are moving? And I'm going to move it sort of close to the edge of, okay, that's too far away. I want to get it closer here. So I'm going to drag it, hold shift. You've got to start dragging before you hold shift or it won't lock in. So if I drag it and hold shift, it locks. If I hold shift, then I can't drag it. So drag, shift, and it'll lock in. It's a little too close to the edge. Drag, shift, and it won't move vertically. Okay, good. Because I was dragging in the horizontal axis. So right now, I want at 15 frames. Don't forget to change your time. I want this ball to end up there. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add a keyframe there. I used the little center keyframe maker right there. Okay. So now what I should have is nothing should happen to the logo, but the ball should go from here to over here and rotate twice. Let's see what happens. Nothing. So I clearly modified the second keyframe by mistake. So let's go back to the second keyframe. Position. Oh, it's moved because I was moving things around too much. So let's select that and let's modify it. I'm going to drag it again, hold shift, and I'm going to have it end up there. Okay. Let's see if it just does the left to right. Yeah. Now let's go back and let's go to rotation, R. Okay. And I want it to rotate. And I want it to finish rotating at the same point at 1 second. Sorry, go to 1 second here. Right, and take my rotational keyframe there. It's going to rotate 2 times when it hits there. I've got to give it a start point, so let's go back to position for a second. Let's go back to the start position. Go now to R for rotation, and I'm going to enter 0. Because right now it wasn't rotating, it was going from 2 to 2, which is no rotation. So I'm going to enter 0 there. Now it should not only go left to right, but it should also rotate twice. There it goes. Okay, so if you don't get the expected outcome, you've got to go and check your keyframes and modify them. You're going to do that a million times if you work in After Effects. Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted to happen. So what I want to do now, though, is I've got to get this edge here. See, because right now the ball, I can see it on top of the logo. It's not what I want. I want it to come out from behind the logo. So I have to create an edge here so the ball reveals from the under the logo. So just like we did with previous tutorial with text coming out from behind a shape. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off, hide the ball. I'm going to make sure that no layers are selected, and I'm going to go to my pen tool. And I'm going to zoom in to probably about 100%. Yeah. Hold spacebar, you get the hand tool, and you can maneuver around the document. I'm on the pen tool. Click anytime there's a change of direction. I'm just starting here sort of at the low point. Anywhere there's a change of direction, I'll put one here. It's a little detailed for what I'm doing, but it's okay. Okay, change of direction here, 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 here. I'm not going to worry too much about this up here. Now, right now, I've got a fill color, so let's go to no fill up here. Okay, so click on the word fill, double click on fill. Oh, there we go. And there's the no fill. Okay, so now I've just got a blue line. You see that? Okay, don't try to do the pen tool with a fill color. It's just too hard. Okay, now what I need to do is let's finish this shape first. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go to fit. Okay, right now I've got this all sort of traveling just along the edge here. I want to finish this off. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to take it like from this point up, from this point down off the screen. Okay, just so I'm well within where I'm going to need to be, so that the ball doesn't show. So I'm going to go again to 100%, space bar, see if I can click. I'm going to go to my pen tool. I'm on it. And if I can click here, let's see, there we go. Go to my pen tool, click, and click. It doesn't matter how many points I add here. Let's zoom out, fit. So there. I'm going to go way beyond where I need to, and then there's the end of it there. I'm going to click there. Okay? So what I've done is defined an area where the ball will not be seen, is in this space here. Let me just give you a fill, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? So right there, the ball won't be seen. Over here, the ball will be seen once I pick my alpha track mat. Okay? So what I'm going to do is go to fill again, double click it, go to no fill, go OK. I'm going to zoom in now. I'm going to round these off a little bit. They're a little raggedy right now. I won't spend a lot of time doing this, but you would probably spend more time. On the pen tool, you're going to click, hold, and go to convert vertex tool. Vertex is a point. So I'm going to round them off. Now the basketball is not going to come way down here, so I'm not going to worry too much about this point, but I could give it a bit of a curve to it. This one here, click and drag, and then if you click and drag, it's like a teeter-totter. Okay, click this one, click and drag, and okay, now I want to grab this one and take that one in the direction I want it to go, which is up there. Take this one, click and drag. There we go. Good enough for what I'm doing. This one's going to be a hard point, so I'm just going to leave it. This one here, probably a hard point too, so I'm not going to really shape it. This one here, I might curve it a bit. This one here, click and drag. Don't tie them up. The color's a little hard to see. I'm going to maybe turn off my background. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to break this handle, and I'm just going to tuck it down like so. Okay, so I've got a nice curve here. I don't even need that point. I'm going to go to my pen tool, push and hold, and you'll get the pen tool. I'm going to delete a vertex tool or vertex point. See the minus there? Click it. Okay, now I got to reshape it. Go back to convert and click on this one here. This is the one I'm going to massage, and I'm going to just drag it out like so. Okay, I missed a point there. That's okay. And take this one and bring it down in the direction I want it to go. So we've got a nice curve there. I should actually have another. Why don't I put it there? just so people don't throw shade at me. I'm going to put another one there. Going to go back to the convert vertex. I'm going to just move that and tuck it in. Now, if I need to move a vertex, go to your move tool and then grab it and select it and drag it in. Now, I've got two that are too close together. So I'm going to go and delete a vertex. I can get rid of one of them. I'm going to go add it back in, but I'm not going to be so close this time, and I can move it. Okay, so there's one. So I'm going to go and move this one. That's the handle, sorry. And then how do I move this to tuck it in? I'm on my selection tool. And then just take it and shape it like so. Okay, so it's finicky. I really need another. I'm just going to cheat it like so. Just going to cheat. Don't tell anyone. Go to convert so I can break those anchors. Watch this. I'm going to grab this one and kind of cheat. There you go. And then take this one here and kind of cheat with it. Good enough for what I'm doing. Nice, right? Okay, so there's my edge that I'm going to use to come out from behind. Okay, so let's go now to fit. There we go. Let's turn the basketball on. There we go. Let's go back to the start of the animation of the basketball. Basketball's on. The mask is on. You don't see it right now. There it is. Let's give it a fill color now that I've cut it out. Go to solid fill. Let's make it a pink. Pink seems to be my overwhelming choice because it's not actually in any of the logo colors or anything. So there's the edge I'm going to reveal the basketball from, and right now it's covering the basketball, which is what we expect and want to see. So if I animate this right now with the basketball, there we go. We can see, we take it part way back. There, you can see it's coming out of there nicely. Okay, and if I hide that layer, you really won't be able to tell until I apply the track matte. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add the track matte now. Toggle switches so I can see track matte. The basketball layer is underneath this shape layer. This is just now a custom shape layer. That's all it is. Instead of it being a rectangle or a circle or something, I created a custom shape using the pen tool. Okay, now all I'm going to do is go where it says track matte, none. I'm going to go probably to inverted. That's what's been working. Look at that. Beautiful. The ball is now rolling out from the edge of that Raptor logo. Pretty cool, right? Now, here's what I said I wanted to do. I want to now add a layer of text. So let me show you one thing that you can make a mistake. Let's say I was on the basketball layer by mistake. And let's say I started to make a custom shape. Okay, and see how it's yellow? That's my hint. What I've done, because I had the basketball layer selected when I started to make my shape, and I don't care if it's the pen tool, rectangle tool, ellipse, it doesn't matter. If you're on a shape and you start to make another shape, it's making a mask on the layer that's active. So the first clue you'll get is this yellow sort of bounding box. You go, what's that all about? So what you got to do is go, I made a mistake, delete that mask, and then make sure you deselect any of the layers, and then you can start to make a new random shape. Okay, I didn't ruin the one below it, don't worry. Okay, so deselect all layers first. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't want it, I don't need it. I just needed to show you that. Make sure, it's very important. It can really confuse you. So right now all's looking good. The ball's rolling out from the edge of this logo. Let's add some text now. Deselect everything. Go to the text tool. I'm going to say go wraps. I like that font, Optima. It's cool. Let's go to the selection tool. Let's put it in place. Where do I think it should land? I think it should probably land somewhere in the middle. I can't go too low. If I go too low or too high, I'll be outside that mask, right? Let me show you the mask. There's the mask. right? I'm not in the mask. I got to make sure that Go Wraps is going to fall within this mask. So it could go up here, awkward. It could go as low as this. That might work. Let's try it there so it lines up with the bottom of the ball perhaps, like so, rather than the middle. Let's have that look like that. So let's turn off the mask. This should work. Go Wraps is selected. It's our text layer. Okay, let's turn it on. Let's turn off of our track mask layer. This one. Let's actually rename it. Right click. Call this purple mask. Okay. And let's go now to the Raptors. And what do you think we need to do? Well, let's animate this first. So that's where I want it to end up. So P for position. Turn it on at what time? Say 1 second. Everything will stop at 1 second. Turn on the position keyframe. That's where it's going to end up at 1 second. Go back in time. 15 frames. Okay. And then I'm going to simply grab the text and drag it. Oops. Grab it, drag it, and hold shift. Now I've maybe messed up a little bit there. We'll see in a second. Let's animate, see what happens. Okay, it's moving with the ball. Look at that. Take it back. Moves with the ball. Good. So we're almost there. We've got our two animations, the ball and the Raptors, both animating. The ball right now, if we take this back, is revealing from behind the Raptor logo. But look at the text. That's a problem, right? So do I have to go and use the pen tool and do a whole new cutout? I shouldn't have to. What I can do is take this purple mask and duplicate it. Remember, the mask has to be directly above the layer that it's masking. So right now, it's directly above the basketball. Okay? So it's working for the basketball only. What if I take that and go Command D to duplicate, or edit, duplicate, Command D, Command D. Okay, there's purple mask too. Now what if I take that layer, let's turn off this, there's the one purple mask, there's the other. For the sake of this, why don't I change that into a bright yellow or something, just so that they look different, okay? So there's one mask, there's the other mask. So I'm going to take the new one I just made, the yellow one, and I'm going to drag it above the Go Wraps. Okay, so now I've got that same shape by duplicating the original above the Go Wraps, which is where I need it to be. Let me just hide the positions here. Okay, so let's see now if I add Track Matte to the Go Wraps. Again, you're always adding the mask to the layer that you're working on, not to the mask layer. So the layer that has the object, in this case the text or the basketball. Instead of none, you're going to go, let's go inverted again. Okay, there we go. Let's see what happens now. So I've got to turn on my Go Wraps. It's turned off. Oh, look at that. Okay, so now the Go Wraps is not showing on top of the logo. Let me just go back to no Track Matte. See, there it is on top. Add the Track Matte and inverted one. And now that edge, the edge up here, the yellow one is now working for the second animation, the second layer. Let's play this whole darn thing. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's doing what we want it to do. Stop it. There, see? Okay, the only thing I would say is I don't like the animation because it's too much happening at once here. So I'm going to delay Go Wraps. So I'm going to go to P position keyframes, and they're happening at the same time as the basketball. You see that? I don't want that. Let's delay the Go Wraps text so that the basketball, they don't overlap. Let's see what happens now. A little better. That's sort of a weird ending because Go Wraps kind of ends late. So why don't see? Let's watch it again. Hit play. Play it again, real time. So I'm going to speed up the Go Wraps a bit because it's ending a little bit late. So now let me try that. Okay, there's the end of the basketball. Why don't I line those two up? Oh, so Go Wraps now is happening a little too soon. So I'm going to go to the beginning of the Go Wraps position keyframe. I'm going to have it start a little bit later so it doesn't collide with the basketball. Nice. Look at that. That wasn't real time. Nice. Oh, I like that. And it looks like the two of them are animating together, but they're two separate animations, right? I love it. So if I go back here, you can see I have space between the two. They're not crowding each other. It looks pretty good. What's the last thing I'm going to do? As I always will, is I'm going to select all of the keyframes at once. Look at how efficient this is when I'm showing them all. How did I do that? Go to select the layers I want to show where I've animated. I'm going to do the basketball and the wraps. Hold Command or Control. Hit U. There's all the keyframes that are animated. Click. Oops, don't drag on a layer like I just did, a track. Select them all. Right click, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, and you're good. Now you have Easy Ease, so there's acceleration, deceleration. Okay, you don't really see a lot of that in this case. There's real time. Okay, because it's a pretty fast animation. What's the last thing to do? You always Easy Ease, and then you can go in to the graph editor and you can influence your different layer graphs. Okay, so if I select these two, I can go in the graph editor, and now I could say, okay, I want Go Wraps to start fast and then slow. So you've got to actually select the little handles, not the actual keyframe. So I'm going to influence how this Go Wraps comes in. It's going to come in really fast, and then it's going to slow down. So I've just modified it slightly. You may not even see the difference. Okay. No, I don't like that. So Command Z, because now they're colliding. Command Z. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and say, yeah, I just messed up these two. Right? So Command or Control, click, puts them back to normal keyframes, not Easy Ease. Select them again. You can go Function F9, or if you can't get that to work, go Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, and let's just live with that. And now check your animation. Beautiful. Nice. There we go. Last thing to do is what? Let's add motion blur to this whole project. Select motion blur. Oh, I don't see it here. Toggle switches and modes. There's the motion blur for every track. I don't do motion blur on a mask track, just on the Raptor. Anything moving. Raptor text, not this mask. Basketball is moving. The Raptor logo is not moving. If it was moving, I'd put Easy Ease on those keyframes and motion blur too, but it's not moving. So just motion blur on the Raptors text and the basketball. Now let's see how this looks. Here's our final animation. It's taking a while to render out now, isn't it? See how it's going frame by frame? Okay, let me turn on my green. See, it says, oh, it just made a change. I got to re-render it. Thanks a lot for nothing. Look at chugging along here. So it's previewing, not in real time. Second time I play it, it should play in real time. Whew. You may say, oh, that's too fast. I could take the end, Command Z, select all the end keyframes, and I could slow down that whole animation if I want. Just change the ending point to all of them, not where they're going to end up, but at what time they're going to end up. So I've just slowed down the animation a bit. Let's see what happens. Chug, chug, chug as it previews. It's saving every frame in RAM. So depending on your computer will determine how powerful and fast it can do it. Still a gap there. It's not going to play in real time again. Look top right. Said real, didn't say it wasn't. Let's check it again. Always, always, always deselect your layers. Get rid of all the junk. Oh, nice. I think that's better. It's a little slower. Just to show you that I did make a change, let's do this. Let's drag this way down. So the ending now is going to be like 2.5 seconds down. Just to prove to you that we've actually modified it. Chug, chug, chug. Everything changes at this point, right? Not what we want. But I'm just going to show you. There we go. Play it in real time. Deselect the layers. Play it in real time. See, I've just messed it all up. I'd have to fix it. So the best way to fix it, Command Z. There we go. Play it. Boom. Look at that. Boom. Nice. That's the end of our animation. So what we've got here are three different elements. A Raptor logo, which was already cut out. It was a PNG, so it had a transparent background. Didn't have to cut it out. A basketball that was on a white background. We took it into Photoshop, used the magic wand, and cut it out. We've eliminated that white edge. It looks quite nice. And then we created text on the graphic. We had these two elements animate out from behind this logo using two separate track masks. Good job.